Welcome to the Big Motor Small Blade Podcast. I'm Buddy Pulley.
And I'm Seth Dolby.
Yes, he is. And his driver won at Martinsville. That's a wild occurance.
It's getting cold in here. I think hell just froze over.
Yeah, it damn sure did. That's why I'm wearing my my Jeff Gordon's upside down. My Jeff Gordon jacket.
I'm wearing my Jeff Gordon Rainbow Warrior jacket, guys.
It's not the same quite. Anyway, we'll talk about Kyle Larson winning, how the package was not that great, and how we can fix the short track package, as well as more proof that Ryan Preece fucking sucks. Next on the Big Motor Small Blade Podcast. And also, Kevin Harvick was going to win. Next.
But he didn't.
He did not win. Kevin Harvick did not win, but he was going to win, and I'm very salty about it.
At least it wasn't Harrison Burton's fault.
You know,
correctly.
Yeah. Kevin Harvick was going to win Martinsville. Like, can we take a second to understand that? Like, had fucking, what's his name? Anthony Alfredo's wheel not shimmed off the car, Kevin Harvick was going to win Martinsville.
That's almost, not quite, but almost as weird as Kyle Larson winning it.
It is not nearly as weird as Kyle Larson winning Martinsville.
No.
Which, that happened.
It did.
I'm still convinced Josh Berry was actually driving the car.
No, that Josh wouldn't have done that kind of burnout.
They switched off. That's why they had the cops pushing everybody away. They didn't want to see the switch off on the drivers. Yeah. Another thing Ross did that pissed me off. He apparently, the security at Martinsville, they were complete. Well, okay, I'm not going to call them dickheads because they were way too stiff about really dumb shit, and and not even them understood why they were so strict about it. Yep. Allegedly, from what we heard, is they wouldn't allow people from their front row to 3 feet further up to the little railing on the front row to watch the burnout or watch Victory Lane because of apparently the Hail Melon. This is real stuff, and I think that is bullshit, and I'd like to place a formal complaint to Ross Chastain about that. He inconvenienced me.
Well, it's just anything like that for after the race. If you want to make it for during the race, and even, I guess, the burnout, because the tire could explode or whatever. But
yeah. Or the
Victory
I originally thought it was because of the mud flap fire.
Yeah, that would honestly make more sense than the Ross thing.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, yeah.
That's
shout out to the Martinsville sheriff that when I said, "Can you explain to me why you're having us back up?" And he's like, "That's just what they told me to do." And then he walks back by a couple minutes later. He's like, "I think it's dumb too." And I was like, "You know what? I appreciate that."
That's what I appreciate about you.
That's what I appreciate about you.
Yeah, that's goofy. It's getting like that everywhere though. Bristol's like that now too. You can't stand on the fence for 5 seconds. They come up
during
to
driver intro.
Intros. Yeah.
It's
not even the fence. It's not even the fence in 3 and 4.
No, it's not. It's like a fence behind the fence. It's the same as Martinsville. Yeah.
Yeah. Essentially, yeah. It's really dumb. But
yeah, we can't have no fun anymore. I remember back in the olden days, you could climb the fence.
I think someone got walked out of Richmond Raceway for that one.
Oh, I wasn't even talking about during the race. I meant like I halfway climbed up the fence when Harvick won the All-Star race in 2007.
Probably wasn't.
No, I'm serious. Like,
no, I believe you.
I was trying to climb up so I could see over everybody because I was like 4 foot nothing, and like people saw me trying to do that and were trying to boost me up so I could see the burnout better.
Hell yeah!
It was my favorite driver. He won a race I was at for the first time. I was excited. And you were at a race this weekend where your driver won. How was that? Kyle Larson won Martinsville. That's the most insane shit that's happened in this past 4 days.
By far.
Yeah, 100%.
By far. Yeah, I couldn't. He made a great move. So let me just walk you through the way I see this. So he ran okay all day. I was like, okay, it's not happening. I was trying to manifest 4 in a row, and then we walk out of Bristol, and I say it'll be hilarious if he were to win 3 out of 4, and one of them is not Bristol dirt. Yeah. I thought that'd be hilarious. Jokingly, I'm like, okay.
Can't confirm Larson's not a good dirt racer.
Apparently. But you know, I'm taking the piss a little bit. I'm like, he's not going to win Martinsville and Talladega. Now, probably still won't win Talladega, but he had to win Martinsville to even get close to that. So, yeah, here we go. He's running okay all day. He's running okay. The Anthony Alfredo tire incident happened, which I'll be honest, I just learned that it was Anthony Alfredo. Thought it was BJ McLeod.
Seth this whole time thought it was BJ McLeod.
Look, I just see a 78
Put some
car.
Respect on my boy.
I respect BJ so much that I think he's the man in the car all the time.
Anyway. Apparently, they need to dude wipe that fucking lug nut clean before they put it on the car so it won't fucking fall off.
Yeah, we'll get there. I have a whole rant about that whole situation.
That's good because I don't really know what to think about that.
Yeah, I know exactly what to think because I watched it happen. But
I wasn't there. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. So anyway, I find out Kyle's on the lead lap after that somehow. I'm still not 100% sure. I think he got back by Suarez like right before that. The caution came out for that is what I heard. But I wasn't really sure. I could not see the scoring pylon, to be completely honest with you. And, you know, he's running.
Can we talk about that for 5 seconds?
What?
Why is it at Martinsville, of all places, one of the smallest tracks, that they have a screen that you could barely see unless you're sitting right there?
Well, I swear it's gotten smaller throughout the years. I used to be able to see it perfectly fine. Like I could read.
I don't know. I remember when they updated it back in like 08 or 09.
Okay, so
and I don't know, but still, yeah. There. I mean, dude, it's fucking ridiculous. It's a half-mile track. Why do we not have a legit scoring pylon that the whole fucking track can see?
Yeah,
it wouldn't be that hard.
I wholeheartedly agree.
That just grinds my gears.
Wholeheartedly agree. I was trying to load on my phone, like in the last 30 laps, I was trying to load on my phone, see about where we were at. Obviously, I knew it was going to be behind, but I was like squinting, and I'm looking for like the lap counter. I'm like, I think it says 9 to go, but I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I had to wait for the white flag, and I had no idea. Down. Yeah. But anyway, where was I at? Okay. Yes. So after whatever the fuck, I don't remember. I think he pits or something. No, he doesn't pit. I think he stays out.
This is how you know Seth's excited, because he will talk you through like things that he doesn't even remember, but he has to talk through every event of the race.
It's
because
true.
He's so excited that Kyle won.
That's how my brain processes things. So you get to a look into the inner workings of my mind, whether you want to or not. This is our podcast. I'm talking. You can either listen or don't. Anyway.
Good plug.
Yeah, I had to get our tagline in there. So anyway, he's running second to Chase Briscoe, and I'm sitting here thinking, damn, Chase Briscoe's really gonna win this race.
Dude, I would have fucking put on my Chase Elliott PSDs that I'm wearing right now and shat myself if Chase Briscoe would have won that race. I would have been thoroughly upset.
Then I would have had you take those off, and then I would have shitted in them and then given them back to you.
Yeah, and I would have thrown them at Chase Briscoe.
That would have been funny. But we would have been banned from Martinsville, but it would have been totally worth it. So anyway, a caution comes out, obviously. Was that the Yaley accident?
I think.
Yeah, I think that was the Yaley accident. So they come down pit, take 2 tires. The top 5 stay out. I'm like, we'll see how this works out, I guess. I tried not to get too excited because this is exactly what happened in the fall, and it didn't work for Kyle. So he makes a great move on the restart to get to the bottom, entering turn 1. Fantastic move.
That boy was moving on the restart. He was.
Yeah.
I think he had the fall like in his mind, and he was like, I'm not going to let that happen again, because he made a point to get to the bottom and attack.
Yep. Then he makes fairly quick work of who was in front of him?
Denny Hamlin was in front of him. I can't remember who was in front of him before. Was it Reddick? I think it was Reddick.
I think it was Reddick and Hamlin.
Yeah.
And then just starts slowly picking away at Joey. And at that point, I was kind of thinking, fuck, I don't think he's going to get there. Joey Logano with the 30th best car here is really going to win this race. And then a couple laps later, all of a sudden the gap looks way smaller. And the guys who I was talking to about the BJ McLeod incident next to me are like, dude, he's getting him. I look over at my brother. He's like, oh yeah, reeling him in. And then I got to watch casting the line.
Nothing better than fishing in Quebec.
Fuck, I hate fishing in Quebec. Anyway, so he makes a pass for the lead inside 30 to go at Martinsville. I'm losing my fucking mind because I think I'm dreaming, if I'm being completely honest. I was like, there's no fucking way this is happening.
Yeah.
And then I had to struggle for the last, I think he took the lead with 30 to go, I believe.
It was roundabouts, yeah.
Yeah. So then I had to struggle for the rest of the time, not knowing exactly how many laps are actually left because I can't see it. I am blind. So I can't see it. I'm just sitting here waiting for the white flag to come out and then scanning the field to see if there's anything crazy that's going to happen. Didn't see anything, which I was kind of shocked. Everyone was frustrated because they couldn't pass and no one did anything stupid at the end of the race.
Yep.
Kudos to the field. I'll be completely honest. Maybe they were trying to and just simply could not do anything stupid.
Oh, they were trying to there for a while.
Yeah, they were.
Maybe I don't know. It was the restart. It was after the restart with Yaley. I don't know what it was. It was one of them restarts. They were trying to get stupid.
Yeah, but no one accomplished it. That white flag came out. And I had myself a fun time with that. I still kind of can't believe it, to be honest with you.
My biggest takeaway, I got two from this. I picked Kyle Larson to win Martinsville, the first Martinsville race on this podcast. And so
you did.
I did, exactly. I knew this was coming. I knew he was going to Hendrick, and somehow, some way, he was going to figure out Martinsville. Now, take that with a grain of salt, because when he got to Joey Logano and it got time to begin to go through the process of making the pass, it became very apparent that Kyle Larson has no fucking clue how to drive Martinsville. The man had no clue what he was doing. He was like a dog chasing a mail truck. He was gonna get there. But he didn't know what to fucking do when he got there. And it took him way longer than it should have. Now, granted, Joey Logano is harder to pass than a kidney stone, but it took him way longer to pass Joey than it should have. He did not know what he was driving it. He was charging the corner, sliding up in the middle, and he was not cutting it off. And then he figured out how to cut it off. But when he cut it off, he wouldn't dive underneath Joey. He was like, I'm going to go hit him square in the ass, because that works in this car. He didn't know what the fuck he was doing.
Totally agree. Kyle definitely drove Kyle drove that way all day long.
He's driven like that for the past 10 years.
Yes.
At Martinsville.
It's more apparent now because you can get in the corner like that, pitch the bitch sideways, and make it stick just because of the way this tire and these brakes are. So there's actually a lot of guys that drive the track that way. Like I never.
Well, yeah, they shift. They pitch it in there, grab a gear, and go.
Yeah, which we'll get into that later a little bit, but I guess we'll just wrap up Kyle. Not wrap up Kyle. That sounds weird.
We kidnapping him?
No, if he doesn't win Talladega.
Anyway, dude, that's sick ass fucking burnout, bro.
That was awesome.
He did a burnout around the entire track.
Yeah, it actually made it, which means the tires were way too hard. But
that's exactly what that is exactly the takeaway. Yeah.
So anyway, I'm still pretty happy about that. As I think it's apparent.
Yeah.
That I'm pretty happy about that.
Yeah, was it? Yeah, 2 out of the last 3 weeks, your boys won. Yeah, I got to the track late. I was at a thing. And I got to the track around 60 to go. Just in time. Anyone for some reason doesn't know, I'm a Kevin Harvick fan. I also like Daniel Suarez because my mom likes him. And I also like Alex Bowman because he wears Vans and ripped jeans. And I got to the track just in time to see all three of those guys' race fall apart. So that was really cool. And yeah, Seth, since you got to talk about your driver, I'm going to talk about mine. Alex Bowman had the fastest car in the state of Virginia when the clouds were out. As soon as the sun peeked through, he was dog shit. Absolute dog shit. He was the shit on the sidewalk that the dog chasing the mail truck that was Kyle Larson left. Like, I mean, he was bad. Suarez ran top 5 all day, and I guess they put 2 tires on, and he didn't know what the fuck to do with themselves. He had his dick in one hand, he was driving with the other, and fell back to 17th. And for somehow, some way, Kevin Harvick has a flat tire under fucking caution. How does this shit happen? Fuck Martinsville and fuck the Hunt Brothers Pizza Car. I'm so fucking glad we only got one more fucking race at Martinsville as a Kevin Harvick fan. Oh my God. Fuck this track. I'm so sick of it. Nothing good ever happens at Martinsville for me, except for the times that it does. But, yeah. Sorry. That's my rant on Martinsville.
Alex won there a year and a half ago.
Yeah, Dale Jr. won there that one time. That was cool. And I was happy when Jeff won his last one. And I was pretty ecstatic when Kyle won today, or whatever day it was.
Whenever it was, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Kevin Harvick was going to win Martinsville. He didn't, so I'm drinking heavily.
Are you never not drinking heavily?
Despite popular belief, Seth, I don't drink that often.
Look, I'm just gonna push this narrative.
Don't
because
do
I'm projecting.
That's bad.
Because okay. I'm projecting.
Speaking of alcoholics, Ryan Preece wins the poll. I don't know if Ryan Preece is an alcoholic. No, he doesn't really strike me as that type. Anyway,
he probably doesn't. He's one of those
Ryan Preece wins the poll, leads the first 130 something laps or whatever, and then speeds on pit road. This might be this is, I'm going to say it, this is my dumbass award for the week. Not Ryan Preece, but your boy Chad Johnston. That's who the fuck's the dumbass of the week. I told you it'd come back around last week when you said you're not going to give Chad Johnston the dumbass. I said he's going to prove it to the world already. And he did. He did. Because he thought, gun it out of your box. There's not enough room before you get to the commitment line for it to matter. What's Ryan Preece do? He forces that sumbitch out the box and gets a speeding penalty, and he's mired back at 20-something all day because you can't fucking pass at this goddamn racetrack with this goddamn race car and these goddamn tires. This goddamn aero package.
Buddy, God's listening, okay? Come on now.
Goddamn shifting. God needs to fix the fucking package in Martinsville.
It won't take that. It literally won't. It cannot be.
But no, difficult. I mean, in all seriousness, it's a fucking joke that, like, that you didn't, like, run that through in some sort of sim. You didn't run that through, like, you didn't even quantify that logic of being able to gun it out of your pit box to the commitment line. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, how can you be that stupid?
Now, did they add like another line there? Because the way I'm picturing it, there's
no. So he's not pitted in the. He's pitted in the. I guess the second box, not the first box.
Okay. They're not allowed to pit in the first box anymore.
No, okay. They don't do the first box or the last box. You're not allowed to pit in those.
Yeah.
So yeah. And yeah. He sped on pit road because of that. So, Chad Johnson, congratulations. You are the dumbass of the week. You were the dumbass of last week, but now you got a hell of a streak going.
Look, I love when we get to clown on Chad Johnston. I'm not even
Chad Johnston's a fucking joke, dude.
He is. I don't understand why Tony.
I don't even like Ryan Preece, but I'm mad for him.
At least if Ryan Preece is gonna have some fuck shit happen, I would like it to be Ryan Preece's fault. Like I don't, for his sake, because I'm sure when he got hired, he wasn't like, I need that guy that couldn't win with Kyle Larson. I need him.
Yeah.
It was probably, oh, here, Ryan, here's your crew chief, Chad Johnston. Well, what'd you do with your career? Oh, we won 6 races with Kyle Larson in 5 years. Or 5 years. Ooh.
Yeah. And all I did, we won 6 races in 5 years, and all I did the other races was talk shit about them.
And 4 of them were in 1 year, so 4 of those years they won twice.
Yeah. Anyway, that was really dumb.
It was.
And because you can't pass, he finished wherever he finished.
15.
SHR showed the fuck up.
They did.
They didn't show the fuck out by any means, but they showed the fuck up.
It had all the makings of them not winning the race, but it was cool to see all 4 of them run well.
All 4 of them were up there. Preece had the speeding penalty. Almirola remembered that he's Eric Almirola. Kevin Harvick had a flat fucking tire, inexplicably. And then Chase Briscoe, somehow, some way, they didn't really just want to make my day that much shittier. So the racing gods decided that we're going to throw that caution for JJ Yaley. Shout out to JJ. Anyway, something I did want to talk about Kyle Larson is it is something to be said because I feel like at Ganassi, he relied a lot more on his talent. Now I feel like he puts a lot more work into his skill set and his actual, he tries. He actually tries. He doesn't just rely on the fact that he's the greatest race car driver in the world. Go ahead.
I think a lot of that's just due to, I say, maturity. He has his moments. Still, but that, and then it's also the pairing with him and not Chad Knaus, Cliff Daniels. It's that pairing. It's been exactly what Kyle needs, because he gets so emotional in a race car, and Cliff just has this way, like, he can talk you out of anything emotionally, it seems. So
if you look at Ganassi, it was, Chip has his IndyCar team, he has his WEC team, he has all these other things. And so that NASCAR team, in a sense, runs, as a separate entity, as everything does. And, Chip's attention is what is divided. And you had, Chad Johnston as his crew chief, who wasn't the greatest support system, and didn't seem like they had the best relationship. So I could see why, and Kyle being young, he knows he's not in the best equipment. He knows he's not going to win every week, but when the opportunity presents itself, he is going to be able to capitalize. And I feel like he had the opportunity to not take racing as seriously, as far as cup racing is concerned. But when you have something like what happened to him when you screw up like he screwed up, and you have your career threatened, gives you a wake-up call in life. And then also you get paired with Hendrick Motorsports, who is no bullshit, and this is their thing. This is all attention is on those 4 cars out there in Concord. And I think it elevates Kyle as a driver that much more when a driver not only puts in has the talent, but puts in the work. And I think that's why you see him better at super speedways than he used to be, and now better at Martinsville than he used to be. 2 of Kyle's Achilles heel, and he is capitalizing on them now.
It definitely. So I don't want to make it sound like I'm totally disagreeing with you in the Martinsville and super speedway racing point, but it certainly helps that sounds terrible to say, but the racing has gotten significantly shittier and all of a sudden Kyle Larson's better at these tracks. I think
even
that's
in 2021 though, like
he was better at Martinsville for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, he was better than he was. And then super speedways, you can definitely make that argument that things have been shittier. But the man still has the clock. So
yeah. Oh yeah, 100%.
I mean, you can't take it away from him, and
no,
I give him a little something.
But
for that.
The only reason I even bring that up is because, like I said, I watched Kyle overdrive the fuck out of the car all day long, and that would have netted him in the wall 14 laps into the race in the old car, the way he was driving it. Now, obviously, it's different now. Everybody's basically driving the car like that, but you still see the guys who generally get around there the best, no matter what car we've had. Denny Hamlin,
exactly.
Joey Logano, they still get in there.
The cream rises to the top always.
Yeah.
And matter what.
Even in a day where Joey Logano had, I swear to God, the 30th best car in the field. He still, when he had track position, and yes, it was strategy and clean air was really important.
Doesn't matter. He was up there and he was able to hold it. He's good at Martinsville.
And I mean, he drove away from everyone else. I mean, Truex caught him at the end, but other than Larson, who they had that thing hooked up on rails at the end of that race, he was able to drive away from everybody else with the 5th to 30th place car. It's good to see, especially since we talk about how bad the racing can be at times. It is still good to see stuff like that. Because, I mean, talent is still important in these cars to an extent.
Well, yeah, I mean, even in the 550 package, talent, you saw the best drivers still be able to adapt and rise to the occasion. Now let's talk about how bad the package was. I thought this was equal or maybe a very, very slight improvement to the fall race last year.
So I'm going to go ahead and say that I thought it was other than on restarts, I thought it was worse than last year in the fall. But I would like to hear why you thought that.
The reasoning why is because you could tell at the end of runs the best cars, normally it was the 4, the 14, and the 11. They would all be running together, and you could get to a guy and make a pass. Then he passed Chase Briscoe, and Harvick and Briscoe swap positions. You could do that at the end of runs because the tire wore. It wasn't so much that the tire didn't wear. It was the tire didn't wear quick enough. And I think if we had the cautions kind of fell, this was a very green heavy race, but also the cautions fell at not a particularly good time for the racing product. So I feel like the longer we ran under green, the better it got, but it still wasn't like good.
Yeah.
The
only thing, the overall, I guess the raciness of the cars on restarts when they were close enough together and they all had fresh stuff.
Hey man, closer racing is better racing. Michael Waltrip told us that.
Yeah, obviously, you and I both know that's definitely not true.
Before you go off on your thing, hold on.
Okay.
Shout out to Sam Mayer. We're big middle finger fans. And so shout out to Sam the Mayor, Uncle Sam.
Young Uncle Sam.
Young Uncle Sam.
Yep.
But anyway, go ahead.
Anyway. So yeah, on restarts, it was really quite racy, and that was fun to see. Just obviously because it's Martinsville and that's what you want to see. The reason I thought it was a step back from the fall was it would take, we watched, my brother and I, we watched Ryan Blaney try and set up, I think it was Austin Dillon. It took him about 60 laps to get into position to hit him.
Yeah.
Hit him, not just get under him, but to hit him. And in the fall last year, at the very least, guys could get in there and move lap cars and other cars, but it was mostly done with lap cars. They could get in there and do that.
Yeah.
So overall, and you are definitely right about the long runs. You could definitely start to mix it up there.
Yeah.
But that was after 60, 70, 80 laps.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a lot of time. That's a lot of time between the restart and when it actually gets racy where they couldn't do anything. And
yeah, I mean, Martinsville 2014, for example, they pitted with like 40 to go. And then they pitted again with like 7 to go. And those guys that stay out they got their lunch eaten.
Yeah.
And I mean, it wasn't close. Whereas, today it hardly made a difference.
Yeah.
You could run I noticed one thing. You could run side by side with the guy a lot more. And I think that had a lot more to do with the track was more rubbered up than in both races last year.
Yeah, that was the thing about, I think it was like 30 laps in the race when it started.
Joey and Kyle ran side by side for a while, and Denny and someone else. I can't remember who was passing. I guess it had to have been Briscoe. Was it
Briscoe or Harvick? I think it was Harvick.
Maybe it was. Yeah, it was Harvick. They were running side by side for like 3 or 4 straight laps. And that was like compelling to me. But once it was over, it was, over.
Yeah. And that's also the biggest tell that, because there's been a lot of people arguing that, and I'm going to get into this in a second because I'm sick to death of hearing of it, how hard historically it has been to pass at Martinsville. But the biggest tell to me that we have a major problem is that guys would sit behind guys for 60, 70 laps sometimes, finally get the pass done and yard them in a lap. That's not good. That's not what you want to see.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, we had a lot of guys who were able to make strategy work in this race. A, because the tires didn't wear, so they could do that. But B, because it took so long to pass a guy, even as the leader, Ryan Preece couldn't lap Ross Chastain in 28th or whatever it was forever. Yeah. Ross Chastain or Joey Logano. Joey Logano only got lapped, I think once. It might have been twice, but
twice.
Was it twice? Okay.
Yeah.
But there were, I think, 2 other times that he had the leader right on his ass. In a normal Martinsville race, you'd be stuck 4 laps down.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and why everyone seemed shocked that Ryan Preece wasn't able to get back up through the field, I'm not sure. He was not getting through lap traffic when he was the leader, so I don't know why.
I don't know that his car was all of that. It was cracked up to be. I think as far as maneuverability through the pack, I think the 4 and 14 were better.
I think so too. The 41 by itself was the fastest car, but in a race setting, no, it wasn't.
No. Yeah. I mean, there's so many factors. It'll be interesting to see because the car was better at Richmond.
Mm-hmm.
The car was good at Coda. It'll be interesting to see how it is at the other road courses. And maybe my point will be proven that Coda is a better road course than Road America, and that 100% it should have stayed on the schedule other than Road America or over Road America. Because it's produced 2 great races, and maybe the package does suck, and Coda is just awesome, and Road America sucks. Anyway, glad I could get that in there.
I don't know. I don't know how you're going to be able to prove that about Road America, since I don't know if you noticed this or not going.
Well, when we go to all the other road courses and they suck with this package.
Well, we're going to have
I'm not saying they will.
I know, but we're going to have to quantify what we mean by suck, or what you mean versus
I
what
think
the
we'll be
population
able to
means.
do that.
Okay.
I don't really care what the population thinks.
Yes, but we vehemently disagree on road courses sometimes. We have for a couple years now.
I think we can all agree that COTA was good last year and all the other road courses sucked.
Yes, the problem I have is it's still tougher to tell because it's the first one. Anyway,
we'll get to that when we get to a road course.
Yes. And if it does suck everywhere else, the other problem will be we still won't be able to tell because they'll change it again, and then COTA will be the first one again. So we still won't be able to tell.
Hey, man.
We need to swap.
Or COTA's just good.
Okay, but to prove that, next year we should swap COTA and Sonoma on the schedule.
So anyway, why does this package suck? Well, tires don't wear. That's a huge one. Shifting is big bags.
Yep.
And also we don't have enough horsepower. And there's been some talks.
No, hang on. You're missing two of the bigger aspects of this, which are the brake package and the contact patch.
Well, I'm going to get to the contact patch, and I think we can overcome the braking issue with these other things. Jeff Andrews with Hendrick said it would take about if you wanted to change the package as far as horsepower package for next year right now, you would have to announce it right now in order to get the parts. But at least they're talking about it. Before it was no 100% we're not upping the horsepower ever. Fuck that. And now at least if we did, so that I consider that progress. But even if we don't, if we could get rid of the shifting, that would be a huge one because now guys have to pay a penalty when they fuck up. And also the tire wear. Now, Goodyear, we calculated this last year, makes about $1 million a race. If you have all three series there, they make about $1 million a race. And you're telling me that these motherfuckers have been around for however many years, over 100 years, that they can't build a tire that can sustain the loads and also wear. That is complete and utter horseshit. Like, I would love to talk to a Goodyear engineer and ask him why that can't happen and why the fuck we can't have interliners in the tires. That is also the dumbest fucking thing ever. Obviously, that doesn't apply to Martinsville, but that is, I want to know, I want an explanation to that. I want an explanation to why we can't have a tire that wears, because clearly they could build a tire that wears. They built the rain tires or the wet weather tires, quote unquote, for the truck series. They wore like it was the best tire wear we've seen in 10 years. And I think that just proves Denny Hamlin's point when he talked about they were exploring the possibility of making a grooved or treaded tire for even dry conditions to kind of mimic higher horsepower and add more tire wear. And I think that should be the way to go. Because, I mean, we kind of almost got a test session of treaded tires on a dry track. Because once that truck race got going, it was basically dry. And they had treaded tires on. And it wore, and the racing was great. So, if Goodyear can't figure out how to get straight up, slicks to wear properly and to put on a good race with all this money that they're getting from NASCAR, then maybe we should just switch to a fucking treaded tire.
Or maybe we should switch tire manufacturers.
That too. But Goodyear has NASCAR by the balls. So yeah, treaded tire seems to be the option.
The funny thing to me, here's the thing.
That would fix your contact patch issue.
It would.
And it was healthy wearing as far as the tires weren't just blowing out. It was a healthy wear over a short run. Yeah. And I think that would do wonders for the short track package.
Yeah, I don't disagree. But I'm going to beat this horse till it disintegrates. Whoever designed the next gen car, I don't think they understood what made NASCAR Cup racing really good. I genuinely don't think it's baffling to me why they thought that a Cup car needed to brake better and needed more tire, just in general.
I mean, I can tell you right now why.
Okay, explain. Explain to me why that thought crossed someone's mind when they said, "Hey, let's make a better Cup car."
Seth, who is the CEO of NASCAR?
Jim France.
Okay. What did he deal with mostly before he became CEO of NASCAR?
I honestly don't remember.
IMSA.
Okay.
He dealt with IMSA.
So he
obviously
didn't understand
he was
NASCAR.
happy. No, what I'm saying is he obviously understood or was thinks that he looked at IMSA and was like, we have a good racing product here. On obviously an all road course series. And so he kind of came in right as they were, in the development stage of the next gen car. And I think he thought, okay, we have these bigger brakes, bigger, wider contact patch on these tires for IMSA, and it produces great racing. And we're already going to a more sports car type feel with this next gen car. So let's add those elements and maybe it will produce the same type of great racing that we see in IMSA. Now, in my opinion,
I just made my point. You just made my point.
Well, here's what I'm about to say. In my opinion, I think IMSA sucks. And I think this is just a direct result.
Well, here's the thing. Whether IMSA racing sucks or not is irrelevant. If that was the thought process, then he did not understand what made Cup racing good. That's verbatim my point.
I wasn't trying to discredit your point. I was just trying to explain why. I was just trying to explain why we have what we have. That is the exact reason.
Yeah, what works in IMSA with sports cars, and I totally understand why they do that with sports cars.
Yeah,
I get it. That's kind of the point.
Yeah, but it makes sense because they have high downforce. We have high downforce.
And it's
a very similar car, and I can understand why.
It's simply not the same type of racing, and it simply doesn't attract the same type of racing fan.
No,
it's more. I'm not going to say pure. I'm thinking of something that sounds like that. Anyway, it's more
full contact, and it's more.
No, I'm talking about IMSA. It's more in line with like what an IndyCar fan maybe wants to see.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's more in line with it. But even then, I'm not the type of NASCAR fan that is disappointed when Talladega ends without a big one. I love that. That's fine by me.
That's the best super speedway race right there.
It is, and it still sucks.
I almost want to retract our calling saying Atlanta sucked. Even though Atlanta did suck, we did see 40 laps at the end that were pretty okay.
And to be fair, we said that in the episode. We said this race sucked, but we're really glad they didn't wreck at the end. That made it better.
Anyway, go ahead.
Yes. So anyway, I don't care about that. The point is the best part of let's just use Martinsville because this is what I was talking about earlier. Martinsville has always been hard to pass at. There's no doubt about that. There is zero doubt about that. Now, the difference in Alex Bowman trying to pass Denny Hamlin at the end of the 2021 race and having a tough time with it, the difference between that and watching Ryan Blaney take 60 laps to hit Austin Dillon to get him up out of the groove is if you can't see the difference. Now, to be fair, you may not have seen it on TV. You probably didn't. But if you don't know the difference, then I'm sorry, you need to stop with this argument, because
one comes down to the skill of two great race car drivers, and the other comes down to the frustrations of dealing with aero on a half-mile racetrack.
Here's the thing. I don't even know if it's aero. It's the fact that you can. So my favorite thing to do at Martinsville.
It's aero too.
To an extent,
yes.
Of
it's aero.
A lot of it is aero.
They don't have the tire they don't have the tire really to overcome the aero.
It's fair, but here's the thing. My favorite thing, I sit in the middle of 3 and 4 at Martinsville, and my favorite thing to do is watch guys entering the corner. I'll just sit there and watch the whole line of them enter the corner. They're entering so far now. That's not aero. That's down to the brakes. That's down to the brakes. That's down to the contact patch. And they're entering so far, there's no room. Martinsville used to be a finesse track. It used to be a track where the guys who ran well there, Hamlin, Gordon, Johnson, they backed the corner way up. That was how they did it. And now you drive in to almost the concrete on the exit of on the entry of 3. You're driving in almost to the concrete, slamming on the brakes, grabbing a gear, and going. There's no margin there. There's zero margin, and that's why it's impossible to pass.
But what here? I think I could debunk your whole braking argument here, because if we could get rid of the shifting, you can't grab a gear. And if you have less grip in the corner, it doesn't matter how much brake you have in it. If you don't have the rear grip to hold the car pointed in the racetrack, it doesn't matter how much brake you have. You're gonna go straight, or you're gonna slide up the track.
That's fair, but even in 2019, when we didn't grab gears, and I think we had a little more tire fall off than this.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we did.
No, we did.
Yes, we did, because I remember when Kyle Larson, Chad Johnston made his only good call as a crew chief ever. They stayed out at the end of stage 2. He got caught and passed by Martin Truex in a lap and a half. That wouldn't have happened in this car. He would have won the stage with 2 or 3 to go.
But anyway, go ahead.
So we had a little more tire fall off than this. Guys were entering not quite that far, but almost that far. Did not have to grab a gear, and it was still pretty similar to this. Wasn't quite this bad, obviously, but it was still similar. They
also had a lot more downforce.
They did, but they also had a lot more horsepower. Well, they had about 100 more horsepower.
Yeah.
That seems significant. I would imagine that's significant.
Yeah. Yeah. I
For
think
what it's worth, you're not wrong though. You're not wrong.
Yeah. No, I think the braking is, when you put it in combination with all of these things, it definitely doesn't help. But I think it is probably the least significant element to the package issues we have right now. I think, like I said, I think it all comes down to tire horsepower and RPM range.
I don't know though. The only reason I harp on braking so much is that at Martinsville, you might be right, but we saw this problem specifically last year at road courses a lot too. You're driving in, and obviously, no matter what you do, you're going to be shifting at a road course.
Yeah.
You're driving.
If you don't have the grip, though, the brakes, it's not going to matter how much brake you have.
It's true, but we still just have too much from the outset.
I mean, yeah, but like I said, we can overcome that.
I think we can. It's just part of the reason I'm harping on this is because we put ourselves in a situation that we didn't need to put ourselves into.
Sure.
At all.
That's true.
There was no
like
reason.
I said, I could kind of see the thought process behind it. Like, for instance, for the road course argument, these guys have gotten really good on road courses. Let's give them all the tools to be good to have a car that's good on road courses, and then that'll make them shine even more. It in theory it sounds correct, but
yeah, if you don't
really
understand, if you don't understand what made it good in the first place.
Yes. Well, has NASCAR really understood ever what makes good racing in the past?
I guess not.
5-10 years. So yeah.
I guess not.
Other than that, that's all I really had for Martinsville. That truck race.
We skipped the big thing. We didn't talk about the tire and the lack of caution for 2 laps.
Oh yeah, I forgot about. Well, like I said, I wasn't there for that.
Okay, so yeah, you were watching the broadcast of that when that happened. How was that portrayed live?
I did not see the broadcast from that happen.
Oh, you didn't?
I was in the parking lot and walking to my seat when that happened.
Okay. So I'll tell you how I saw it then, since I'm the only one that saw it in around the time it happened. I saw the 78 that I thought was BJ McLeod get really loose entering the corner, and I was really confused. And I saw his entire fucking wheel fly off and sit there at the exit of turn 4, right in a spot where it can be hit. It almost did get hit about 5 fucking times.
Yeah.
And it sat there for 2 laps. Now, I know NASCAR has a spotter at the entry to turn 3, so he couldn't have seen that. I don't think they have a spotter in turn 4.
They have a spotter in all 4 turns.
Do they?
Yes.
Then that's embarrassing. Well,
what's even more embarrassing is there's video and pictures of the flagman looking directly at it.
Yeah.
Why do we have what's the point of a flagman if he can't determine a caution for himself?
Yeah.
Why do we have, because the tower couldn't see it, and that's ultimately why it took so long for them to actually call it. Why can't the flagman be like, oh, that's a caution, let me put the flag out, and then NASCAR be like, the flagman's putting the flag out, there must be a caution. Yep. Or why is there not a button there that he can press? Because ultimately the flagman should be able to use his own discretion on what could be a caution and what not.
Well, and it's like, I'm not getting on you, but I'm so sick of hearing that the tower couldn't see it. You have a spotter in turn 4. As long as he would, I didn't actually see him.
I'm just saying the direct, like the people up top that.
Yes. Yeah, I know.
Hands over the briefcase, over the football.
Yeah.
No,
I get that.
Hitting the nuke codes to throw out the caution. Yeah.
Yes, I understand that. So I visually, I can watch the guy in turn 3. I still don't know where the guy stands in turn 4. I don't know. I've been going to Martinsville and sitting in the.
You could see it in the Hail Melon video. You can see the turn 4 spotter. Yeah.
Okay. So what the fuck? The turn 4 spotter
outside the crossover gate.
Outside the crossover gate. Okay, that's why. Here's what should have happened. 78 wheel just flew off. It's sitting over here in turn 4. Okay. Whoever put it out. Bam. That took
end of conversation.
It took what, 4 seconds?
Yeah. It took 10 times longer in real life.
Yeah.
For that to happen.
That is negligent. That is completely you could have killed somebody.
Oh yeah.
Let's not beat around the bush. You could have killed somebody. If someone hits that, it could go. It could go over the fence. It could go into the pit lane.
Yep.
It could go through a fucking windshield. Maybe, I don't know. That's that'd be hard.
No,
but it's possible.
If Carl Edwards' race car didn't go through Ryan Newman's windshield, then I don't think
it could hit the flagman.
It could hit the flagman. That could happen.
You could kill somebody. That took 4 seconds for us to do that.
Yeah,
4 seconds.
And it all comes down to the fact to why do we not have corner workers and a flag person? Why can't those 5 people, as well as people up on the tower, why cannot they not determine a caution? Why do we not have capable people that can, know in their mind that is a caution?
Yeah.
And why can they not hit a button? Why can they not have a button or flip a switch on the wall or whatever to turn
or
on
their
lights?
belt or something,
Something.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, to throw the caution. It is absurd.
Yeah. I'm not over that. That really, really pissed me off. We were all up in the stands screaming.
Yeah, that is as far as like safety, fan safety, that is more egregious than the extremely dangerous situation that was the 2021 Roval when Chase Elliott's back bumper was flapping in the wind and they refused to throw a caution or black flag him because he was the most popular driver in the sport.
Agreed.
They put fans' lives at risk because they didn't want to screw over the most popular driver in the sport.
And this, because it was on an accident, is worse.
Well, this, from what it sounds like, is it was in the middle of the pit cycle, and they don't like throw cautions during the middle of pit cycles.
Look, if it was...
Caution is a damn caution.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It still would have been wrong to do. But if it was sitting up in the middle of turn 3 and 4, it's still wrong, still should be a caution. I could, at the very least, understand that.
Yeah, no, it was sitting there dead off of turn 4. One guy breaks loose.
Yeah.
Somehow, some way.
Well, and Kyle Busch and whoever he was racing around, they went by their 3 wide at one point.
Mm-hmm.
It's a miracle that no one hit it. It really is. I saw about 5 guys get a little tight coming off the corner and have to back out and duck under it. Yeah. Like it's 2 fucking laps it took them to do that.
Yep.
Oof. Yeah.
Yeah.
That I needed to say out loud.
Big boo-boos. Big boo-boos. Not a good look.
You're all fired, every damn one of you.
Every damn one. Seth, did you know that Chase Elliott was back?
I did.
Yeah.
I picked him. Yeah.
I don't want to ever hear a fucking brain dead, Blue Lives Matter, fucking goddamn racist piece of shit bitch about the amount of promotions that Bubba Wallace gets, because it is nowhere even a fraction of the publicity that was put into Chase Elliott's return. The motherfucker got a TV spot. He was on the Pat McAfee show. Like, he was every fucking where. Because promoting that he was back. Because after he broke his leg doing something that he probably shouldn't have been doing. What the fuck? Like, I mean, I get it. You want to promote that your driver's back, and apparently it helped the ratings. I'm not sold on the fact that it helped the ratings. I think it was more that it was a Sunday afternoon and not a Saturday night, because apparently that they're hell-bent on that being a thing. So I'm going to credit to that, and not Chase Elliott factor, because the Daytona 500 and California are both down, and Chase Elliott raced in those races.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. That was just something. Talk about pushing shit down your throat. That seems to be a hot topic nowadays. And the media definitely shoved Chase Elliott's cock down our throats.
Well, here's my thing. I genuinely don't have a problem with that. Because,
ultimately, I don't. It's just more, okay. I don't
think we
necessarily
need more.
have a problem with that. It is more of I know those same people had a problem with other people getting publicity.
I understand. I understand what you're saying.
We need superstars, and Chase Elliott is a superstar, and they are pushing that, which is a good thing. But
yes,
we also have other superstars or potential superstars, and just because you don't like them, don't bitch about it.
Well,
that was a personal break.
Well, that's kind of what I was going to say. Is I think we need more of that. We need more different driver, not just Chase Elliott, obviously, but we need more different driver. Like,
if Ryan Blaney could win a fucking race ever,
well, Ryan Blaney
would be a great.
Ryan Blaney is a perfect example. We could do that for this weekend. The entire spot could be, hey, Ryan Blaney's won twice at Talladega in the past 3 years. He hasn't won in a year and a half. Tune in and see if he can do it.
Kyle Larson is the greatest race car driver in the world. Run a commercial about that.
Yeah. Like Kevin Harvick is in his last season, a legend. Run a commercial about that.
That.
They should have done that before Phoenix. Kevin Harvick has 9 wins here. Come see if he can get a 10th in his last year.
Here you go. Here's how you hook him. What race car driver does every person in the world know? Past, present. What is the one race car driver every person knows? Dale Earnhardt. Everyone knows Dale Earnhardt. You know what you do? You promote the fact that the guy who replaced Dale Earnhardt is retiring. That will get people interested.
Yeah.
You promote the fact that Bill Elliott, his son, is a superstar in the sport. You promote that, and they obviously are. We need more of that. You promote Bubba Wallace. Granted, you maybe shouldn't. Maybe it's not kosher to use the race card, but you got to use everything you can use. And Bubba Wallace is gaining traction and becoming more successful in the sport. Give the man his credit. Ryan Blaney, if Ryan Blaney could fucking do something, he's obviously very popular and has a good personality. Kyle Larson is the greatest race car driver in the world. Kyle Busch is Kyle Busch. Don't need anything for that. Denny Hamlin. NASCAR needs to lean into the fact that them and Denny Hamlin have a rivalry. I mean, dude. Fuck it. Do WWE promotions to this guy. These guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just don't do it for Chase Elliott. That's what pissed me off.
I mean, no, yeah, I get what you're saying. Obviously, it makes a lot of sense for them to run an ad that Chase Elliott is back, obviously. But yeah, they need to be doing this all over the place. The Ryan Blaney for Talladega one would be perfect. What's after that? Kansas? You could run one for Kyle Busch there. Pocono, definitely run one for Denny Hamlin at Pocono. You can use the him and Ross Chastain incident. You can use that in your promotional material. The list just kind of goes on and on from there. You can find a correlation for every week.
The commercials need to not be the crashes and what race it is. It needs to be the driver and what race it is. Essentially.
Because think about it, where Formula One, now I don't know what Formula One advertising really looks like. They don't have advertisements during the race.
Charles Leclerc has people stalking him, showing up at his house, asking for autographs. That's not a good thing, but it is a good thing in the fact that it's a sign that Formula One drivers are absolute superstars. They're global superstars. And NASCAR drivers are not that. So,
obviously we're never going to get to that level. But
we could. Think about how many fucking people showed up to Motegi.
Well, think about how everyone in the greater Charlotte area has a story about when they saw Jeff Gordon at a restaurant, and it was somewhat like that. So,
yeah. Well, yeah. Anyway, yeah. I don't know. We are lacking superstars in the sport. And yes, the one superstar, yes, promote that he's back. But don't bitch about when other people get promoted because you don't like them.
Oh, I'm just going to bitch about the fact that they don't promote anybody else.
Yeah. That's all I had to say about that. Also need to put our fucking docuseries on fucking a streaming network and not USA. That is the dumbest fucking thing they've ever done in their lives.
Why they didn't go to Netflix immediately is beyond me. But
other than that, is that it? Is that all we got for Martinsville? John Hunter Nemechek about burning his car to the ground.
Yeah, that was probably the coolest thing I've seen ever.
Yeah, that was also I'm on this whole mud flap needs to go thing.
I'm going to pretend I was right all along, just despite the fact that I thought they were ugly, and that's the only reason I didn't like them.
Yeah. On Talladega. Probably not going to be great. Let's be honest.
It's not.
Maybe it will be, though. I don't know. Nothing's changed, but maybe. We're going to have a good time.
Yes, we will have a good time.
We will have a fantastic time. If you guys will be at Talladega, come see us. Geico free camping.
We don't bite hard most of the time.
Seth definitely doesn't bite because he don't like people.
It's true.
I may bite, but it's cool. Yeah.
But he's kind of a vampire.
So picks for Talladega. I'm picking Ryan Blaney.
I am picking Riley Herbst.
Riley Herbst. Wow. I mean, honestly, dude,
he ran good the Daytona 500.
It's probably not a bad pick at all.
That's why I needed the entry list. I needed to see if Riley Herbst was running. I thought he was.
I thought okay, cool. Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
And yeah, I've used Kyle Larson and Chase Elliott in the last 2 weeks, so I needed to use someone.
Yeah, we need to pick a winner one of these days.
Yeah. When was the last time any of us picked a winner? I feel like it was like early last year.
Yeah, it was too.
Yeah.
No. One of us picked Chase Elliott at Pocono.
It was you. I forgot about that.
That's right. I picked Chase Elliott at Pocono.
We didn't get any of the playoff races right?
I can't remember if we did or not.
I don't think we did.
I picked Chris. Oh, you picked Joey to win the championship.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, so I'm picking Ryan Blaney. You're picking Riley Herbst. Sundress and Dumbass from Martinsville.
Sundress, I went with Todd Gilliland. They didn't get the finish for it, but he ran great all day.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's a good. Yeah.
Roll with that.
Yeah, I'm for it. Todd Gilliland's underrated as fuck. Yeah.
And for my dumbass, I went with NASCAR. There's no excuse. There's no excuse
for the tire thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I try dumbass. I said it earlier in the show. Chad Johnson.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yep.
I try not to pick NASCAR because it's usually like low hanging fruit, but there's nothing is worse.
I'll give you that one.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've been Buddy Pulley.
And
I'll be somebody else tomorrow. And this has been the Big Moter Small Big Podcast. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok. Listen on Spotify and Apple.
Or don't.
Yeah, or listen or don't. It doesn't matter.
Or you can do what I do and listen on Google Podcasts. Yeah,
subscribe to Seth's OnlyFans. It's Smol Dobowski. It's the only thing small. Jesus Christ, don't ever do that again. So yeah, I'm gonna go to bed.
Okay. Have fun with that.